Hello, everyone. Thank you. It's great to see you all here. I want to thank you all. I think today's event this afternoon went off beautifully, and hopefully all of you here now have a sense of urgency in seeing this device marketed and out in the hands of the experts who know what to do when they need to do it. So ZipThaw, I have to say, I joined the company in February. I looked at the device and I thought, wow, this is great. It's my favorite color, red. And when I look at labs, everything is blah. So immediately, it's going to stand out. The fact that it's portable and has all the features is just remarkable. And I think we're going to do great things with this device. Beyond thawing plasma, going into areas that perhaps we haven't thought of. You'll hear about that tomorrow when I talk at Ron's home. So before I introduce the next very important individual and co-founder of FreMon Scientific, I want to extend my greatest thanks and gratitude to our shareholders. Without you, I wouldn't be standing here today. So thank you. And next, I want to introduce our Chief Technology Officer and co-founder, and now dear friend, Moni Shavit.
I'd like to introduce my dear friend, co-founder of FreMon Scientific, and the man behind everything. So, Fred Toucher.
Thank you. Just for some of you who may not know, Moni and I met about a little over a decade ago, and we met in a very difficult circumstance where we were both brought into a company that was a stem cell company up in Sacramento area, and our job was to help turn the company around. This was a company that had taken in $142 million from investors over a period of years, and 20 some odd years later, they still didn't have a profitable quarter. And when the board of directors realized they were down to the last $4 million, they got desperate enough to hire us to help turn it around. And that's how Moni and I met. And we really jumped into the trenches with Moni on the spot, reinventing the technology that this company was selling to make it work. And my job was to get it out there back in the marketplace in the world and get it to work. And that's where I met many of you who are here tonight. Nicholas Azar, who is going to be speaking from all the work we did in the Middle East. Diva, Sarah will be here soon, and forged a lot of relationships in the blood business. So it's been a treat to work with you, Moni, and to continue to work with you. Thank you very much for that honor. We're going to have some presentations from different folks, and I'd like to introduce now Springtide, Austin Walters, to tell us all about the wonders of the sale of ZipThaw and ZipSleeve.
My name is Austin Walters, and I'm the founder of Springtide Partners. Springtide is comprised of two companies. One is an investment group, which owns some shares in FreMon Scientific, and the other is a distribution company. And we've been in business now for 2 years. We've had 3 clients, all healthcare technology companies. The first company we did sales work for is called Medumo, and this was is a Boston-based company that spun out of Brigham and Women's Hospital to help improve patient navigation. And we sold primarily into endoscopy centers within hospitals. And helped get them into the largest provider in northern New England, as well as a Harvard hospital. They were acquired earlier this summer by Philips, and so we were very pleased about that, and continue to help them grow. Another company that we've done work and continue to do work for is called Pathology Watch, and they have developed algorithms to help and detect skin cancer in dermatopathology slides. And so far we're working territories in Southern California and Florida, among the sunniest of locations in our country where skin cancer has a higher incidence. And working on filling Texas next, and we'll go from there. So we're very excited and honored to have the chance to be among the first distributors in the U.S. of ZipThaw device and the ZipSleeves. The plan at a high level, and then I'll invite our 3 territory reps to come and share the more detail on the sales plans for their territory. Is to place for each of 3 territories 1 device in the month of September, 2 devices each in the months of October and November each, and then 3 in December. So that's just shy of 25 devices this year, and so we're looking forward to that and to learning what we need to learn as we place these first devices in pre-FDA approval markets or research markets in the U.S. And so with that, I'll invite first Jim Bloor and Tony Velasquez to come up, and they will be covering the Northwest region, primarily Washington State and Oregon. So,
thank you. My name's Jim Bloor, and I have been in medical devices for about 4 decades. A lot of different companies, startup companies, as well as very mature companies. The first thing I'd like to do is I'd like to introduce my associate. He has a very unique background that I think he'll bring some tremendous value to not only our group, but also to the entire group. And so, Tony, could you give us an overview of your background?
Sure. I've been a surgical assistant for almost 30 years. Actually, I started as a surgical assistant and went on to become a surgical first assist. So technically, I did the same thing a surgeon did across the table from the surgeon in surgery, all the way up to closing, putting dressing on. So did the same job, just didn't get the same paycheck. Primarily did trauma and transplants, liver transplants particularly, where this comes into play, trauma and transplants. We used tons of blood in those cases, so a lot of experience in thawing blood in a quick, fast fashion, unusual fashions, and so that's primarily what I have as far as experience in this field.
Great. Thanks, Tony. So a little bit about my background. I started with Baxter Travenol. I was there for several years. I then went with my Baxter boss to a company called Sherwood Medical, all under a corporate territory responsibility. From there, I went into ophthalmology, implants for cataract surgery, and from there, I went into management. I've managed for 4 different major companies, some of which you're familiar with, such as CooperVision. And the time that I was there, we were the largest eye care company in the world. Also, perhaps Cooper Surgical. We started as a startup, and today they're about a $500 million company. They're one of Cooper companies, which is an extraordinarily dynamic organization. We are really pleased to be part of Austin and Kurt's group. We've been communicating with Austin for well over a year, and obviously today is a big day for all of you and an extraordinary day for us. So We're very excited to be part of this, and as I mentioned to Fred as he was walking over here, we have the opportunity to see a lot of products from a lot of various manufacturers. And I think of all the ones that we've seen in a long time, this particular company has done an extraordinary job in terms of planning and execution, and I think the success will become very obvious very soon. So anyway, again, we're very pleased to be here. With regards to our short-term strategy, we are focused primarily on the blood bank and transfusion service managers, such as Harborview, the University of Washington, under the direction of John Hess, and I've actually had a call into John. It wasn't the most opportune time, but he did indicate that he would be willing to possibly consider looking at the device soon. Also at OHSU, which is the medical school in Oregon, and the director there is Richard Scanlon. And then there's also another level 1 trauma center in Portland, a second one which is at Legacy Health, and they're under the direction of Dr. Glidden. We also are very fortunate, thanks to Faraday, to participate in the September 23rd through the 25th trauma meeting at the University of Washington in Harborview. And we anticipate that we're going to get a lot of exposure and a lot of traction and obviously a lot of interest. So that'll be forthcoming. We feel like that some of our major critical markets are going to be the cancer market, cardiothoracic, trauma, and then obviously blood banks. That's obviously before FDA approval and subsequently thereafter. The last thing I'd like to add that I probably should have added earlier in my short talk here is that I've also had my own sales agency for 29 years. I left corporate America and started my own agency. I'm a Washington C corporation, and with that, it's brought us across many, many, many disciplines in healthcare. So I feel that we will adapt and contribute very significantly to this organization. Thank you very much.
And so I'll just introduce the other two briefly. This is Eric Hall, who will be managing Intermountain West territory initially, and then next will be Mike Miller, based in Florida, but tackling some key national accounts for us will be next. So
I'll just take 2 seconds and introduce myself. So I am from Ogden, Utah, just north of Salt Lake City. I've sold and been a part of medical devices now for 20 plus years. Capital equipment, disposable equipment, all sorts of good things. I've been a sales rep myself, and then in management, managing large groups of people. And there's first thing, just wanted to say I'm incredibly grateful for this opportunity. As a salesperson, these types of unicorns don't come along often. So I am incredibly excited to be a part of this and have the opportunity to sell it. And then I wanted to just bounce off of what Faraday said in the color of the box. I consider myself to be a bit of a Paul Revere. When a message needs to be spread, I have extreme joy in spreading it. And so in this case, instead of the red coats are coming, the red box is coming. So we want to be smart about the way we do it, strategic, thoughtful. But I am, again, very, very excited to be able to sell it in a big way and help FreMon Scientific achieve its goals. So thank you very much.
It's a pleasure to be here. I also have to thank Austin because he found me on LinkedIn and we sort of started a conversation and went back and forth. And my feeling was when we talked about this thing that quite frankly, I was amazed and basically said, well, if this is real, if it works, you got yourself a real product on your hands that's going to be remarkable to go through. To start this, I know we've had some delays over the course of our time together, but the fact of the matter is there is the Armed Forces Blood Services that's run by basically one colonel out of the Army, but currently services all 4 areas of the armed forces. Back in April, I spoke with these people on a conference call, and their answer was very quick. We're not going to spend any money, but we'd really like to take a look at it. And that's basically one of the highest praises you can get. A buddy of mine that found that had worked for Grumman for multiple years in terms of laser technology with the armed forces and basically got me into this particular modality. My other area was in coagulation for the last 20 years. And so with that, I've got a number of people that are situated in trauma. And I was just showing our German friends here that Critical Care Medicine just published the 5th rendition of how to deal with damage control, resuscitation, and in essence, trauma that is a massive transfusion activation. And so this is a 74-page document that, quite frankly, a trauma surgeon sent me. So without further delay, I have appointments pending right now with the director of the Indy 500, for those of you in the United States. He's the trauma surgeon that has treated a number of those casualties. He's the one that sent me that journal article and said, I'm speaking at the Indiana AABB, and for those that don't know, the American Association of Blood Banks is probably one of the leading governing bodies with regards to blood utilization, et cetera. So Tim asked me to come to the AABB meeting as his guest, and so I'll be there on the 18th of September. Furthermore, Faraday has agreed graciously to come out at some point to come to Virginia and or Tampa to speak to the armed forces as soon as we can get a device in our hands. And I'm more than happy to bring the entire team. So Fred, Moni, no questions about it. We want to see if we can set that up in the next 30 days. There are a number of facilities. I have one transfusion director at Allegheny Health Network, and this is a 7-hospital system with 2 level 1 trauma centers and 2 level 2 trauma centers that has basically said, we were ready in April. So when you've got it, bring it to us and let's see what this thing is ready to do. So that's just the start of things. But I will tell you right now, it's very exciting. I have yet to hear from anybody that has said to me, yeah, no, really don't need to see this. It truly is the potential rocket. So again, I'm grateful to Austin for finding me, and I'm looking forward to this whole progression as we go along. So thank you very much.
It's been a treat for me to work with Austin and Kurt as we've explored how to build this enterprise and do so in a very responsible manner to bring it forward in the United States before we have FDA certification. And I've got every confidence that we're going to meet the numbers that Austin's laid out earlier and probably exceed them from everything I can tell. Next, I want to ask my dear friend Sarah Bettley. Sarah came here from London, and she represents Diva Medical.
Okay, so good evening, and as Fred said, I'm Sarah Bettley from Diva Medical. I'm one of the directors of Diva, and we are a UK company, and we're delighted to be becoming a distributor for ZipThaw. And we, as Fred said, we've known Fred for quite a long time. We've had a good relationship over many years, and I will just give you a little bit of a There we go. As to introduction as to who Diva is. So we are one of the leading independent service and maintenance companies in the UK, and we also sell equipment, obviously. So we were established in 1981, so we've been around for nearly 40 years, so we kind of know what we're doing by now. The business is head office is up in Runcorn, which is in the northwest of the country, near to Liverpool, Manchester, for those of you who know a little bit about our geography. But we are nationwide, all over the UK and Ireland, and we have a southern office as well down in London, and I'm based down in London. So I will just talk you quickly through what we do. Obviously, we've been in the business for a very long time, and we have a huge amount of experience. We know the industry, we know the market, and we know our NHS customers. And as you will get to know, and I've spoken with some of you, the NHS is quite a different beast in terms of selling and supporting the way the medical business is carried out in the UK, but we know it very well. We have full coverage all over the UK and Ireland as well, so we've got engineers based around the country, and we can respond very quickly to our customers wherever they are based. The way we operate, we have customer account managers who will engage with, sell to the customers out there, and then support them in managing their contracts and selling to them, and how they're living with their products as their relationship with us. We sell a small number of niche products, I suppose, and ZipThaw fits really nicely into the kind of products we sell. We're very much involved in the blood bank. We have two sides of the business, but predominantly for these purposes, it's the blood bank and the labs, and we will sell small products, niche products that appeal to and complement the requirements of the labs. And we have had a long history in relation to plasma thawers. We used to be the distributor for the thermogenesis plasma thawer, which those of you who know plasma thawing will know has been around for a very long time, and certainly in the UK was very much the dominant product, and a lot of customers still have up to 20-year-old thermogenesis thawers that they love and are clinging on to, but are quite excited now at the prospect of a new product coming along. We provide maintenance contracts, and that's what a lot of our relationships are with many hospitals for maintaining and supporting the full equipment that they have in their labs, which puts us in a very good position to be able to introduce the ZipThaw to them. We also carry out calibration and mapping, which is something that's of increasing interest and importance in the UK, heavily regulated now, and we're accredited to the ISO standard for calibration and mapping, something actually that we might need to think about, and Fred and I have talked about how we might be able to provide mapping service in relation to the ZipThaw. That's certainly something in the UK. The customers, the NHS customers, are very interested to know how we can temperature map and calibrate the equipment they use within the lab. So that's something we've started thinking about in the context of the ZipThaw. As I said, we've got a range of engineers dotted around the country who are able to attend wherever the customers require them to support from preventive maintenance, but also fault repair and so on. The other side of the business, which is less relevant here, but we are involved on the respiratory side, so we support a lot of hospitals who have equipment out with patients in their homes, so those who have breathing support equipment, and we supply some of the equipment, and we go out and we attend. Our engineers go out and provide support in the home. So currently we work with over 200 NHS trusts and also private hospitals, selling equipment but doing a lot of service, repair, calibration and mapping. We have a huge amount of experience, and we have some very strong relationships. So a lot of the key decision makers within the laboratories, and then within the finance and procurement teams within the NHS in terms of where those decisions are made. And as I say, laboratories, blood banks, the pathology departments, the pharmacies, and moving into research and that kind of arena. We do cover the whole of the UK, so we've got a strong sales network there, and we've got a lot of history and knowledge. And we also attend quite a lot of the large transfusion and pharmaceutical conferences. I've taken Fred along to some of the user groups that we've presented to in terms of the transfusion community, but we've also taken the ZipThaw to a number of big conferences. The BBTS is probably the equivalent of your AABB over here, so the British Blood Transfusion Service Conference annually. We introduced the ZipThaw there last year to great excitement and a lot of interest, and we've been to a number of smaller events during the course of this year where we've taken we have had a physical product, not always in working order, but we've had a physical product to show people, and it's had a huge amount of interest and excitement, and I've got a list of hospitals who are eager to get their hands on one to trial. So we're very confident that there will be a huge amount of interest, and we're very well placed to help the UK get to grips with and begin to fall in love with the ZipThaw, as I'm sure they will. So in terms of what's next for Diva, it's the ZipThaw, and we're delighted to be on board, and I think we will be very, very excited to hear that there are some products available to start selling at the end of this month. I'm going to be taking one of the ones we saw today home with me, because we've got an exhibition coming up that it would be really good to use that at, and we can start letting customers trial it. So hopefully by the end of this financial year, this calendar year for you guys, and then looking towards our next financial year, we'll have a very good set of figures to share with you guys. Thank you very much.
I've had the privilege of working with Sarah and her husband Jason and her father-in-law, who established the business in 1981, for quite a number of years, and I have great confidence you're going to do really well with ZipThaw, and we're very happy to have you on board. Thank you. At this point, I'd like to bring two special guests also who've arrived here from Germany, Thomas and Christian Barkey. They're the owners of Barkey.
Thank you for getting the opportunity being here, and we are very delighted and thankful to Fred and Moni and the ZipThaw team for being here, being part of this special and historical event. Thank you for that, and hope that this relationship between our both companies will lead to a great success. We are a company 40 years old. This company was founded by our father, Volker, in 1980, and thanks to him and his innovations, so we have today a big portfolio of products, what we call dry warming. Until today, the company is a family-owned company in the second generation, and shareholders are Chris and me. The company by itself, we have 60 employees and a revenue of approximately 10 million euro. A headquarter in Leopoldshöhe, which nobody knows. It's close to Hanover, and a regional office being opened in December in Bangkok, Asia, to serve our Asian and Southeast Asian partners. Business divisions, as I said, is medical technology, laboratory technology, all about dry warming. What becomes to be warmed, we find the solution. Manufacturing and development, service provider, service and services, and last but not least, cell technology. This we call our cycle of performance, or our flywheel of portfolio. You see, we provide more than only distribution. We provide R&D. We have our own R&D team. This is in total 8 engineers working on software, hardware, and supplier qualification, manufacturing. We have a manufacturing facility for being able to produce our products by ourselves, and with the necessary qualification. As you might know, we already have products in the US, so we are aware or have experiences with the FDA and, of course, ISO certified. services. We have some on-site services in Germany, but also worldwide. And as I mentioned, the service hub in Bangkok is one of our strategies to being closer to our customers. Sales. There's a sales team of approximately 15 persons, and we are distributing our products worldwide. This is an overview about our competences we have in our facility. And now I will pass over to Chris. From Germany into the world is showing that we are producing in Germany and selling the products worldwide. Means we have cooperation with the sheltered workshops and the promotion of the region, involvement of the community.
Thanks to my co-speaker and brother, Thomas. Good evening to everybody from my side as well. My name is Chris. I just would like to, before I continue, I'd just like to remind a situation about 4 years ago during an AABB show. Moni and Fred, remember that we crashed into each other, talked about plasma thawing, and so that was the start actually why we are here tonight. Thank you for that again. Thomas mentioned already a few important points. Let me continue this presentation before I switch to another presentation about our potential cooperation as well as our both future. Here you see where is Leopoldshöhe. Leopoldshöhe is in the north. Hanover, Frankfurt, Düsseldorf, those cities might be easier to remember. And by Q4, we will have also representative office in Asia. I switch from here now to the other presentation. It's basically a worksheet which was sent a little bit earlier before we came here, and I don't want to go through the whole presentation, but I think the last two slides quite important. We are here also to contribute and to offer Barkey as a platform, as an established and existing infrastructure to the market where ZipThaw is at home. And I would like to take you on a journey tonight and some kind of scenarios we sketched on this slide just to motivate, to initiate the spirit, what Barkey is actually thinking about and looking for, that say, and I don't want to take too much of Farideh's talk for tomorrow, but we are here really to deliver our competences to make ZipThaw great, and we believe that we are the ideal partner for that. We commit to quantities, and you see those figures. We believe that those are absolutely achievable, and with our network, I think we can even give higher estimates and contribution to that. From our side, thank you very much, and we are very much looking forward to having more exciting talks with you tonight and tomorrow, and looking forward to our nice dinner with you. Thank you.
You should know that as of at this moment, the plasma therm device that Barkey manufactures and has developed over the years is taking market share from all other water bath devices that are on the market. So we've got good experienced distributor for us in Germany, and we hope to grow our relationship over any number of years. So thank you both very much. We look forward to working with you. So we've discussed a little bit with some of our distributor partners where we're going to go and how we're going to be able to approach the marketplace for ZipThaw and ZipSleeve. And we heard a little bit earlier today about how the device works and what the prospects are for modifications for future use of the device. We want to also segue now into manufacturing. And I'm going to ask Jeff Trail to come up and speak to us from Boyd Technologies. Boyd is manufacturing the ZipSleeve for us.
All right, thank you, everyone. I'm Jeff Trail from Boyd Technologies. I'm in business development, and as Fred said, we will be making the ZipSleeve. We're very excited about this program. We are completely dedicated to the success of this program. Hopefully, we've been demonstrating that thus far with the work we've done. And I want to thank John Toole for introducing FreMon Scientific to Boyd Technologies, for making that possible. We're forever grateful. Thanks, John. So Boyd Technologies, we are a converting and assembly business founded in 1979 in Lee, Massachusetts. We're a private business with a senior management team and an independent board of directors. We have approximately 55 employees, with most at our headquarters in Lee. We have a small Boston office. We have 85,000 square feet of manufacturing space. Our core competencies are in the material sourcing, product development, and manufacturing of single-use medical devices made with flexible materials. So the ZipSleeve is a perfect product for us to be manufacturing. And we referred Minitronics to FreMon because we know we'll work well with Minitronics as we focus on single-use disposables. Minitronics focuses on electromechanical devices. We're ISO 13485 certified. We comply with 21 CFR 820. We're an FDA-registered facility. We have internal and external audits regularly through ISO and our clients. We're always audit ready. We maintain the highest standard of product quality and associated documentation. We have a quality management system for development, so we have procedures to ensure that device design is translated into production specifications as required by 21 CFR 820 design transfer. So we have a tried and true design transfer process that takes our clients through a technology transfer like this, from pre-validation to verification trials, to validation trials, to manufacturing. An example of some of the commitment we have from our clients is Millipore Sigma. We've been doing business with them for 23 years. We've won Supplier of the Year award from them several times, and we have dock-to-stock status with them, which means that our products do not require incoming inspections because of our high quality that we've proved year over year. And so with our production, we have the ability to expand. We can grow with FreMon if FreMon takes off, as we all hope and expect. So we'll be making the ZipSleeve in a Class 7 clean room with it's called a Delta ModTech rotary press, which is an amazing piece of machinery. We can add another Class 7 clean room. We have the space if we need to with another rotary press. In a Class 8 clean room, we'll be taking the ZipSleeves off the line into the Class 8 room, which is a modular space with laminar flow. And there we'll perform a functional test on each sensor with a UID reader. We'll seal the rigid top to the ZipSleeve, to the bag itself, and package the ZipSleeves in pouches, and then cartons of 10 each. And as far as the schedule, we are really about to begin the feasibility trial segment of the verification and validation. And then, so that should be complete by October 4th. Second line item, the verification trial should be complete by end of October. Operational qualification trials should be complete by mid-November. Performance qualification trials should be complete by December 18th with 3,000 saleable units. And then shortly, right after, we'll produce another 2,000 saleable units for the first production run and finish the documentation and the validation documentation review. So hopefully it's a happy holiday season for all of us with this schedule right up to the holiday season. So that's all I have for today. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Jeff. And we've developed a very strategic relationship with a first-rate medical device manufacturing company based in St. Paul, Minnesota. And so I'd like to ask our friends from Minitronics to please come up and tell us how you're going to build this device for us.
Hello. I'm Derek Daly from Minitronics. Thanks very much for having us. Introduce my colleagues Ryan Messer, who's our Director of New Product Introductions, and Jerry Sauber, who's our Vice President of Operations. I'll talk a little bit about what Minitronics does and turn it over to the smart folks to talk about how we're going to help launch the ZipThaw 202 system. So a little bit about Minitronics. We're a privately held medical device technology company. Been in business since 1996. We exclusively work in the development and manufacturing of complex electromechanical medical systems. That's our sole business. We specialize in some key verticals within that industry, RF energy. We specialize in stimulation and active wearables, systems that have fluid and gas management requirements, and optical systems. Our mission at Minitronics is to solve challenges that are related to medical devices and healthcare, and really benefit patients and humanity in general. It's a lofty goal, but our organization is really tied to solving tough problems and focused on patients. We consider ourselves a huge part of the medical device industry, not a manufacturer or a contract provider of services. It's a medical device company that's focused on patients. You can see some of our vision and strategy. It really is tied into to helping patients and helping our customers help patients. I won't read those slides to you. Some statistical information about Minitronics. Founded by Rich Nazarian, our Chief Executive Officer to this day. He and some of his colleagues were working on a total artificial heart project. I told this story to many of you yesterday over drinks, but he and his colleagues were working on a total artificial heart project with a number of entities. They were with 3M at the time. Penn State Medical School was part of the organization or the collaborative effort, and Terumo and several other organizations. They had tons and tons of success creating the electronics and software for a fully implanted heart. They hit a milestone, and 3M decided to divest from the business, leaving Rich and his team to find a new project. And I joke that they didn't want to go work on Post-it notes or sandpaper, right? They were doing something very meaningful, so they decided to spin out and form Minitronics. 3 engineers, Rich and 2 other folks, continued to work on that project, and from there grew Minitronics, 3 engineers in a garage to over 300-person privately owned organization that we are today. Part of that is really the growth is hiring really smart people. So you see Jerry and Ryan up there, both 10-plus year veterans of Boston Scientific. I think Ryan worked for 6+ years with St. Jude. So as the company grew and grew, we pulled folks from the medical device community. Not that there's anything wrong with folks who are electrical engineers in other industries, but our goal is to bring in certain levels of expertise and certainly within our industry and within our core vertical set. A little bit more about the nuts and bolts of Minitronics. We're in St. Paul, Minnesota, 160,000 square feet. We've got about 100 full-time engineers on our staff doing medical device development. That's a lot of software, a lot of electronics, mechanical engineers. Really, we build ground-up devices. Our customers bring us their intellectual property and their expertise in therapies, and we build an entire medical device company around that, complete with all the engineering, regulatory experience, and expertise, and systems and infrastructure to develop, build, and get through the regulatory process. You see our compliancies there. Really expert level capabilities in software, electronics, and the manufacturing processes that accompany it. partnership, these are the folks that let us use their logo in our presentation, but it's public knowledge that some of our biggest customers are Medtronic and Boston Scientific and St. Jude, now Abbott. And a little bit more statistics. We've worked with over 250 companies in our 23, almost 24 years. We've shipped over 350,000 medical devices, and we really tie everything back to how we're helping our customers help patients, and we've impacted 20 million patients over that 23 years. And then recent stats. We've got 30 active manufacturing partners or customers today. That means we're shipping devices similar, not quite as good as the ZipThaw 202 system, but we're shipping devices to 30 med device customers today. This year we'll ship 60,000 total medical devices from St. Paul. And the areas of responsibility that Jerry and Ryan oversee have launched since 2017 12 medical devices into the market. So 12 devices that did not exist are now commercially available because of the effort of a lot of people, but under the guidance of these two gentlemen. I think I talked about a lot of this stuff already, but essentially we consider Minitronics a medical device company for hire. We work oftentimes with folks that are virtual companies. FreMon Scientific is a perfect example of a company that has 4, soon to be 5 employees, and they now have the horsepower of a 305 person organization by partnering with Minitronics. Engineering, development, manufacturing, service, sustaining engineering. Fred mentioned a few things today that there's a software next generation that might be added. So as things like that come up, it's common for our customers to say, we've got excellent software, but in the next revision of it, we want it to do X. Minitronics can handle all of that for our customers, and devices come to us and get refurbished, or we help push software out to through their field reps, et cetera. But we can really support the entire life cycle. And a little bit more bragging, our quality management system is an OEM system. So our customers really only need to develop supplier qualification processes, and everything else is under the blanket of Minitronics system. So we've got 23 years of success doing that, submitting a multitude of 510K and PMA devices to the FDA and other notified bodies. And we've had 7 consecutive full FDA inspections with no action indicated. So that's their actual saying. It's classified as no action indicated. It's the best score you can get. No action indicated. It doesn't look great on a banner, no action indicated, but it's the best you can do. So I'm about to turn it over to the smart folks, but I'll just say a typical engagement model for Minitronics is you can see our customers responsible for intellectual property and usually performing proof of concept, whether it's a therapy or a diagnostic. The customer comes up with IP, and this is how we're going to implement the IP. Minitronics is usually engaged to either solve a really tough design challenge or to achieve a clinical milestone. Sometimes for our PMA partners, it's get us into first in humans, or we want to do some GLP animal testing or something like that. And with our other customers or any customer, it could be we want to get to market. That's what we're hearing very much from FreMon Science. We want to get to market, so that's where we engage to build the plan that's going to get them there. In the middle of we have a great idea, we've got a design, and at the end point of we're in the market comes what our operations folks do is launch the product. The NPI process is scaling the commercial supply chain, scaling tooling, scaling all the nitty-gritty nuts and bolts that go from great design to commercially viable product. And then we achieve that steady state production and support through the product life cycle. We realize that our customers want the cost of their device to go down over time, so we're doing the effort that it takes to do that, whether it's leaning on our vendors, whether it's trying to find design enhancements, design improvements. There's a lot of different levers that we can pull, but we know that it's incumbent upon us to create a lot of value for our partners so that they hit the point of, we want to enhance this device or we want to make a next generation device, and they come back to Minitronics to help solve that problem or challenge. So I'll turn it over to Ryan to talk about how we engage specifically with FreMon Scientific and what's next.
All right, thanks, Derek. Again, my name is Ryan Messer. I'm the Director of New Product Introduction at Minitronics. We'll talk a little bit about the next couple slides around how we're, the engagement model. I think it's key. I'll point out that this engagement model is not new. We, in terms of the new product introduction team, about 50% of our products that we're currently bringing into Minitronics for commercial manufacturing are following this model. We take the customer's design. In this case, it's going to be FreMon Scientific, and we'll bring all that documentation into our systems and our quality system, and we're going to launch the product for you, right? With the long-term goal of, we want to continue to build more and more devices for you and to scale, right? And I think, and Jerry may hit on this as well. The NPI team takes these devices and will go from single digits, and ramp plans to 10. It might be 10 to hundreds, hundreds to thousands, even thousands into 10,000s. Minitronics is currently on pace, I think, this year for about 60,000 plus devices to be shipped through commercial manufacturing. So just kind of give you a breadth of scale of what Minitronics is capable to do, and really looking forward to FreMon Scientific to get the next 1,000 units out for you guys. So 2,000. 25, Fred? Or is it 60? November? Is it October? Well, I updated the slides here, so I thought I had that conversation with you, but no. Just a little bit on the commercialization plan, right, around what Minitronics is currently and where we're at, right? The team is currently engaged with FreMon Scientific. The engineers, I can tell you right now, are excited. Personally, myself, I've launched quite a few medical device products in my past. Never been a part of something like this. It's nice to see the excitement out there, right? And it's different. Some people have ideas. You're like, yep, this is where it's going to go, but this is different. And so Minitronics, the team at Minitronics is really excited to help be a part of it. So thanks for that, FreMon Scientific. So currently, we engaged back in June to begin the conversations around this partnership, and it's really just taken off from there. Currently into September, we're really working on getting that documentation, the design documentation, and bringing that in-house. The team is ready to receive that. And from a quality system standpoint, obviously, we have to get that released in our system so we can be able to manufacture that. And at the same time, really parallel pathing in this to get to this November, December timeframe for launch, obviously building that supply chain, right? So it's going to be twofold. We're parallel pathing, leveraging the existing supply chain, but also engaged our own strategic supply chain to really look at how do we transition from the current supply chain fully into Minitronics supply chain. That's going to be the best solution for the long term. So. And then everything down here at the bottom really is, if you've been in medical device long enough, right, like we talked about the 510K earlier, that process to get, submit the design documentation, get approval, per FDA requirements. There's a lot of work and documentation that has to be done to fully set up, install equipment, and have a fully validated manufacturing line for commercial manufacturing. So, and then in the long term, in terms of year one, trying to, back to the ramp, trying to get that year one objective at around 85 ZipThaws a month. I'm sure there's going to be some improvements along the way. As Derek mentioned, the benefits of working with Minitronics is being able to do that. We have that full product life cycle. So if you ever get a chance to stop by and tour, if I need software help, I can walk right across the street and go grab, the software engineer and say, hey, can you come over and help? And so that's the benefit. So that's really what Minitronics provides to our customers. So in the year one, obviously, we know we're leveraging the existing supply chain. There's going to be some challenges there. We'll work with that, and that's the nice thing about the partnership. We'll identify opportunities out there, obviously communicate with FreMon Scientific and the engineers there, and what and when do we want to make improvements to support that ramp into year two of 2,000 units and beyond. So, but again, I think that's all I have. Jerry, if you want to say a few words.
Jerry Saber, I'm the Vice President of Operations. I have been in the electronic assembly space for just over 20 years, primarily focused on medical devices that entire time. As Derek mentioned, I was with Boston Scientific for the 13 years prior to joining Minitronics, and I have been there for coming up on 3 years. And I wanted to say thank you to all of you for having us out today. As Ryan said, I've gone through in my career over 100 product launches, and I've never participated in something like that this morning. So that was really inspiring to all of us for sure. And wanted to say thank you for putting that together. And our team, is very excited for this supply chain within Minitronics. We're supporting $50 million plus of materials every year. Our job is to find efficiencies, find capabilities, match them with our customers. Our track record over the last few years is to improve our quality, improve our efficiency, improve scrap year over year, and pass that on to the benefit of the customers. And so at Minitronics combined, there's several hundred years of experience, and we are excited to bring that to the table to the benefit of FreMon, not only with the ZipThaw and the ZipSleeve, but the impressive roadmap that you have in front of you that we're already hearing about and looking forward to supporting. So just want to say thank you, and we'll hand it off.
Great. Thank you.
Well, I want to thank all of you who presented today. I hope that it gives each of you who are distributors a sense of our determination to create a quality product, a product that you can rely on, that your customers can rely on, that you can place in your customer's possession something that you know is going to work, and a product that you can be proud of. And a product you can sell dynamically. I'm sure that that's going to be the case. It's been great to hear all your presentations and to understand that what your thinking is about that. It's also a real pleasure to hear from our manufacturers. Normally, we don't have this type of opportunity in a business to have a collection of our shareholders, manufacturers, distributors, management, and understand where a company has been, where it is, and where it's going. And we want everybody to participate and everybody to help with that task. That's all we have. That's what we're here for. We're here to save lives, and we're here to make some money, and we're here to have a good time doing it. So I welcome you all, and now we can go and have a nice dinner and some cocktails and whatever else we like. There's lots of conversation. There's assigned tables for seating, so just enjoy and get to know each other. Thank you very much.